Hey y'all, it's Poseidon. And in this video, well, not necessarily a video, it's going to be more of a series, and it's going to be the start of a podcast that I wanted to start for a little while now. I've been looking for like co-hosts or trying to find different people like each week to come on. A little while ago, if you've been following my channel this long, I did an interview with Kevin M. Cologne, and I kind of wanted to do stuff like that for a while now. Just interview different people, get different perspectives, whether they're competitive, their content, their TOs, whatever they are involved in the FGC, particularly in the NRS community. However, it's been hard to get people to come on around my schedule and around their schedule, and I haven't really done another one since that one. That was back in like November. That was like the football season was still going. So I just decided to say, screw it, I will just do it myself. If I can find someone to come on one week or whatever, I'll do it. But I'm going to do this weekly, and I'm just going to be going over stuff that's happening in the FGC, particularly the NRS community, maybe some Smash stuff, and that's a little bit where I wanted to get started. Is how did I, get to this point that I'm making content, I'm TOing, I'm competing, and what got me here, why I'm still doing it, and why am I so passionate about it? Because I really do enjoy it, and in a way I do live for it. I have my job, my girlfriend and stuff, but this is like, one of the three main things that are in my life. So back in 2015, I was playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl with a few friends, back home. And then I was like one of, if not the best, in my friends group. And then I went off to college, and I had a buddy who also played Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He was really into Melee, but he said he did play Brawl and he was good at it. So I was like, all right, let's play. I'll body you. You always get that, like, whenever you're the best of your friends, you think you're like one of the best players in the world. You just have this talent. So I played him, and I just got destroyed. Like, he played Meta Knight, I was playing like Ike and Yoshi, and I was just getting bodied. He was destroying me, and I was like, how'd you get so good? And he's like, well, I've been competing in Melee, and I understand, like, essentially, the Brawl meta, and he was playing Meta Knight, who was the best character, an insanely strong character, basically banned at one point. And he was like, you should watch Super Smash Bros. Documentary. It's really cool, it's interesting, and it may get you into the scene. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it. I turned on the first episode, and from there I was hooked. I'm not sure if you watched the Smash documentary, but it gets you, and it gets you just completely hooked on the competitive aspect of it. It was just so interesting, at least for me. Even like I had friends watching it, and they didn't get like involved in the scene like I did or I have, but they were even interested in it. It's just it's very well done, and it got me hooked on the scene. And immediately after watching that, I started practicing like Melee, just moving around, understanding, because there's like there's such a big learning curve in the game that you really need to just kind of top in and just really start practicing. So I ended up going to my first tournament in 2016, and I was, going to locals, whether that was in Oswego or Syracuse at the time. I was traveling to like Rochester or Albany, like surrounding cities of Syracuse. And I just kept going, and I kept going to events. And eventually, a bit of like a vacancy came up in the TOing in Syracuse at the time. So I was getting to a point where it was the summer going into my senior year. I only had one more semester left. So I became the Syracuse TO, and I would drive. I was going to school in Oswego, so it was about 45 minutes away. So it wasn't anything too crazy of a drive. So I was able to TO the tournaments in Syracuse from Oswego. So I would drive there, run tournaments, then go home. And then once I graduated, I started doing weekend tournaments by weeklies. And I was pretty much the head TO in Syracuse for Syracuse Smash from 2017 to the beginning of 2023. In 2023, I took a step back, and that was mainly to focus more on shirairyutv and stuff, which I will get to in a moment. So I was, I got into competitive Smash, and then I graduated college, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get my job. I got a job. And then I was like, I'm going to go to as many tournaments as I can and just chase this and see what happens. So I was going to major tournaments like once a month or once every other month, driving there. I drove to Chicago. I drove all over the place. And in 2018, I ended up going to Combo Breaker for Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's the only game I signed up for. So I played my Melee event and getting like 17th out of like, I think like 150, 200. It wasn't a huge event, but it was pretty big. And I remember doing really good. It was pretty sad. I ended up getting up till rested game 3, but in a best of 2, first to 2, best of 3. I get up till rested and I lose. I last stock when I had a huge lead. I was just like, fuck. man. I don't know, what it feels like to get hotel arrested, but it does not feel great. It's zero, mind you. Whatever. So I'm upset, and I go and I walk through because there was like the venue that had some games, and then there was the bigger venue, and the bigger venue had Injustice 2 Top 8 going in at the time. So I go and I watch Injustice 2 Top 8, and I was just hooked from there. At least watching the game, it was so cool watching Superman fight the Ninja Turtles, or watching Blue Beetle fight Batman. It was just really cool to watch. Really cool to see. It really sucked me in because I enjoy superheroes, and I've always enjoyed Mortal Kombat games too. If you know Not Skash, and I'll get into the origins of shirairyutv in a second. He would always get the new MK games. I would always get the new MK games with him, and he would always beat me. We were very casuals. We were definitely part of the casual community from pretty much MK4 or MK even 3 to the beginning of Mortal Kombat 11, where he knew combos here and there. They weren't like optimals, but he knew how to change stuff together. I was basically throwing out special moves and down 2ing for my life. I didn't really know what I was doing, and so I didn't really get into MK games until the Injustice 2, and I was like, this is awesome. I watched the entire Pro Series from Mahama Breaker until the finale. There was a bunch of events, CEO, Evo, SoCal Regional, just all those tournaments, and watched the finale, and that was super cool. And then I pretty much decided after the Pro Series finale that there's going to be a new MK game coming out. It wasn't announced then, but I was like, there's a new one coming out. It's on the horizon. There's so much speculation that when the game does come out, I'm going to play competitively. That December MK11's announced, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy it launch day, and I'm going to practice it, and I'm going to get to a competitive level with it. So that's what happens. April comes out, and I get the game, and I'm just hooked from there. I'm playing it all the time. My boy Not Skash and I were running sets. He's destroying me as per usual from our entire childhood. But I understood how to get better at fighting games through competing in Super Smash Bros. Melee. That I was able to improve relatively quickly, through watching other people play the game, through understanding how to practice movement and your combos and stuff, and just being disciplined with that. I was able to get pretty good, and eventually I started being able to beat him. I was playing Garrus for a while, and then Joker came out. I went to a few tournaments. I went to Combat Breaker 2019, competed in MK11, 102, got smoked. Went to Defend the North, and all that stuff, and went to the tournaments, and I was like, all right, I'm involved in the MK scene. And then the pandemic happened. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say exactly the name of that happened, but then that kind of shut everything down. I was actually planning to even go to MomoCon. That was in Georgia. That's where Skash lives, and we were going to go to that event. Got shut down, so everything's online. So everything's online, and I'm playing online events or just playing against friends online, and eventually I go to Skash, and I'm like, hey, there's these tournaments that are called Sunday Night Slaughter. They were ran by the Syracuse guys, and they were going to stop running them. They were running them Sunday nights. So I go to Skash, and I'm like, hey, what do you want to run tournaments? I have the trio experience from running, the Syracuse Smash events, and I was running actually an online tournament series for Melee called CMY Slippy Saturdays at the time. And I was like, we should run a tournament. You understand how to stream. He was streaming and stuff. You understand the streaming aspect. You can stream it. I'll run the tournament. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, okay. It was cool. And I was kind of floated the idea out there. I figured it would take a little while. But then a week later, he's like, dude, make the Start 2G. Let's do it. Let's do it for next week. We'll plan it. We did a tournament series. We actually called ourselves the Pit back then. We did the Pit, and then we did the series. It was 2 weeks, and then we did a finale, and then we did another series we called Back King of the Gaiten. We did it for 3 weeks, got 8 people qualified, and did a finale again. And then eventually, when Sunday Night Slaughter went down, and sort of not went down, but stopped running tournaments, we decided to pick up the mantle running tournaments every Sunday night, a weekly tournament series that we called Shirairyutv Sundays. And that is still going to this day, basically running an event we were actually running a bi-weekly at that point, but then eventually started running it weekly. And just kind of grew from there. It was $20 to start out. Then we got to $50. Then we got a sponsorship from STG, and they were sponsoring our events for a little while. And we got events up to $100. Then we ended up joining another team called Kuden Clan. We don't want to get into that. That didn't last very long. They promised us a lot of money, didn't really give it to us. Unfortunate, so we ended up going our own way, still running these bi-weeklies, $100. And then we ended up partnering with DG, Damascus Gaming. Also, on the way of doing this, we started running PC tournaments. It was like monthly here and there. We ended up getting involved in the PC scene. But they were like monthly and kind of sporadic, and we kind of just decided if we hit the sub goal, we would run a PC tournament, and we would use the money that we got from the sub goal, from the Twitch revenue, and just run a tournament with it. But eventually we decided that, okay, we're going to run tournaments weekly, and instead of doing PS4 every week without MK11, we're going to run PC. So we did PS4, PC, PS4, PC. All the way basically into the end of MK11. And then when MK1 came out, DG was helping us a while, and we started doing weekly MK1 tournaments on PS5, where we were doing $250 prize pools. That was really cool. Unfortunately, that didn't last the whole time. Around February, DG pretty much said that, hey, they weren't going to be able to continue funding the tournament just because it was a lot of revenue sink, and how the game is, it wasn't growing as much. We completely understood, and they're like, hey, we still want to work with you, and we're still working with them to this day, but they couldn't help us in the way that they were before, so we decided to shift that, and now we're doing Shirairyutv Season 3 qualifiers. So now we have 8 weeks of qualifiers that are leading into a $1,000 finale, currently at $1,060. So that's about the history of me getting involved with the competitive scene. And then shirairyutv, we added some people along the way. Silver Sandbag came in about a couple months after we started shirairyutv. Silver ended up coming about a year or so after that. Abyss ended up joining our team. So we have a pretty good team, and I really enjoy all of them. And we're really working towards this common goal of just trying to grow the FTC and give people a place where they can compete and, make a little money for it. And it's cool, and I really enjoy doing that because I really do have a passion for that. Not only as a TO, but as a competitor as well. I really enjoy competing, and I've said this, many times before, but out of everything I do between TOing and content and competing, that I am a competitor first, and I enjoy competing, and I'm not going to necessarily prioritize it because I haven't really been able to with all the stuff that I've been doing with the community on top of full-time job and, girlfriend, and, now we have 4 cats, it's a long story in itself, but I am a competitor first, and I enjoy that, and that's the whole reason I'm here. It's the whole reason I started, and it's the whole reason I'm going to continue, because I really, really enjoy just the thrill of doing that, going to tournaments, and giving it my all. And, making a little money on the side doesn't hurt anything. But yeah, that's pretty much the start of how shirairyutv and I got started. So in terms of the YouTube channel that I started this back in November of 2023, so a couple months after MK1 started, and I wanted to do a personal channel, but the thing is, with everything I was doing with shirairyutv, not only do we stream tournaments on Sundays, but we have a YouTube channel. We have over 2,000 subs on that YouTube channel, and we were pumping out videos basically every day from our events. Towards the end of MK11, we were even doing things like podcasts and personal content and stuff, and it was just it didn't make sense that I was going to put my time into both. Because basically from the start of shirairyutv's YouTube channel to when we reached partnership, which is about 1,000 subs, I was doing most of the work on the channel, and it was because it was kind of like a project. We had the streams and stuff. Scott was doing the streams. We all kind of have our roles that we play. And then Sandbag even was helping. He was editing his videos and stuff like that. So it wasn't like I did it all myself. But it was basically that was a big focus, and I was pretty much the main person that kept the YouTube channel running. And they got us to partnership, so it was kind of hard to decide that I was going to do my own channel on top of that, because it was just a lot of work. But eventually, people started chipping in more, and everyone pretty much at shirairyutv chips into the YouTube channel. So it made sense that okay, I'm going to start doing my own content, and anything I do personally, I'll just put on my own channel and uploading gameplay and doing things like this, doing interviews, or just talking about the FGC, or not sure you've even seen, but I'm going to get into the next offline tournaments that are coming up. But pretty much for every big major tournament in MK1, I have been doing a players to watch out for type video, trying to generate some hype around the events. So it's all for DreamHack. for Frosty Faustings. I did it for the Pro Comp event that happened in March in Brazil. I did one, and they're really cool to make, and I kind of want to generate more hype for the competitive scene, because at least for the NRS community, the competitive scene definitely is lacking for the amount of people that are involved and the skill of the players. There's so many really good skilled players that just don't really get an opportunity to shine, because tournaments don't happen very frequently. So even if you do go to a major tournament and you just don't have the best run, then you might not have another opportunity for another year, with the expense of traveling and how often the events happen, plus the little bit of reward that you do get. So it's hard to make it those events. So I really want to put a light on players who are putting in the work and doing really well. And that's also why I made the competitive top 100 ranking. And we're actually developing a team for that. That's going to be really cool. I'm really, really excited that because I made a 2023 top 100 competitive ranking for Mortal Kombat 1. There's actually series of videos that I make, just revealing each the players. I'll actually link the playlist in the description of this video for the top 100 ranking, in case you're interested in viewing that. That was for 2023. We're making one at the end of June for 2024 spring 2024 spring/summer ranking, and then we're going to do another one at the end of the year for the winter ranking. And yeah, it's just been really cool. It's been a whole journey. It's been a whole experience, and I'm just going to keep going. So that's it in terms of me. I'm sorry if I'm just kind of ranting about myself, but I don't know if I missed anything else. I still, I guess a little bit something I want to talk about is, my tag here is Poseidon SSB, and that's my tag on everything. Yet most of my content, or basically all of my content, is about Mortal Kombat. And the thing is, I started in Super Smash Bros. And at least as a competitor, and I talk about I'm a competitor first, I still compete in Super Smash Bros. I was literally at a tournament this past weekend. I am going to tournaments basically each weekend over the next couple of weeks. And I kind of decided at some point that MK, I was going to still compete in it. I was going to take it very seriously. But that was going to be more of my content game. And then Smash was going to be more of my competitive game, and I was going to focus on just playing that competitively and then making content of the MK stuff. And eventually, or maybe even sooner rather than later, I might start incorporating more Smash stuff. I've kind of been a little afraid, because when you go down a different avenue, you'll start losing people, you'll start getting people disinterested if you play a different game than what you have been putting out there. I noticed even with my streams, it's been very hard to get people into the Smash streams compared to the MK streams. And so that kind of made sense to do that, because but I've been involved with the Smash scene longer than I've been involved with the MK scene, and I don't plan on quitting either of them anytime soon. Competing, I enjoy both those games, and I'm relatively good. I mean, I just got top 8 at the tournament. Unfortunately, I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I had a chance to close out the sets and events in the tournament. Wasn't able to do it though. It's what it is. It happens. There's always another tournament coming up, so no need to dwell on that. But yeah, so let's talk about tournaments we have coming up. So at the end of April, I think it's 2 weeks from this weekend that's coming up. I think it's the 26th. Yeah, starting the 26th of February, of April, we're having Texas Showdown. So that's a tournament that's happening in Texas. Last year, when MK11 happened, it was a really cool event. King Gambler and going on a big losers run and winning the tournament. And it was just a really hype event. This year, it's going to be bigger. Texas is a huge place because they have Smash House, which is a really big local scene that they had developed for themselves. And that's really cool. So there's a lot of people there and a lot of people traveling in. So that should be a really cool event that's happening at the end of April. At the end of May, we have Combo Breaker. I think that's the May 24th through the 26th or something like that. I think that's about right. And that's going to be huge. That's going to be the last Pro Comp event that you can earn points for. So people who didn't qualify through the regional qualifiers, which we'll get into a second, will likely be going there trying to solidify as much points as they can to make it to Final Combat or the Pro Comp finale. I'm not sure exactly what they're calling that. They used to call it Final Combat, but that Final Combat is going to be happening and I think the weekend of the 11th through the 14th of June. Let me check the calendar real quick. Where's the calendar? Okay, I don't have it on hand right here. Okay, I don't. Yeah, I was just saying it's about the weekend of the 14th, June 14th through the 16th or something like that, where the first day is going to be LCQ. The second day is LCQ, Last Chance Qualifier. That's for anyone who did not make the finale through your regional qualifier or for points. You can go to LCQ. If you win LCQ, you are in Final Combat. That's happening in Toronto in June. And then The next day after the last chance qualifier is going to be pool play. Pools for their each player who qualifies is going to be put into a pool. They're going to play it out, and then there's going to be a second wave, and that's going to happen the next day, and that's going to be probably like a top 16 to top like 8 range players who made it out of the pool, out of the pool play within their 5-6 players that are in there. They move to the next day, and then that is going to be the finale. People playing for that, I think, $200,000 prize pool. I want to say it was $100,000 at one point, but I think it's $200,000 now. I know winner used to get $30,000. I think they're getting $60,000 now. So I think it's a $200,000 prize pool, which is awesome. Really, really cool. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then even after that, at the end of June, we're going to have CEO. That's always a big tournament. And it's going to be happening, I think, the 26th through the 28th of June. And so it's going to be a big Mortal Kombat 1 tournament. And then the next month, I think a couple weeks after that, is going to be EVO. That's happening in mid-July. And that's going to be another big Mortal Kombat 1 tournament. So we're heading into a long stretch of tournaments that are going to be offline, big names, big players. EVO is always a big tournament. It's not part of the Final Combat series or the Pro Comp series because it's happening after that. But then after EVO, I feel like we're going to go into a bit of a lull. We're going to have like ECT, but I don't know if they're going to announce another pro series. The way that this was handled by both the players and WB and NRS makes me think that we might not get a second one for Mortal Kombat 1. I really hope we do because it generates a lot of hype. Because not only do we have these offline events, but we have these online events. So NA East and West were the last qualifier is going to happen the 4th and the 5th of May. And then the following week is going to be the regional qualifier where the winner of that gets invited and gets to go to Final Combat to compete. So that would be really cool, and it would be really cool to see who qualifies through these online events. We still have the East and West for EU. We still have the OCA, which is mainly like Australia, or Oceania, I think it's called. We still have Liga Latina South. I'm pretty sure Liga Latina North already happened, and Broseph PR qualified for that. So congratulations to Broseph. He's going to be playing at Final Combat. And then we have the Brazilian region as well. So still a lot of people left. A lot of really hype Mortal Kombat is going to be coming up. We're going to see people qualifying. We're going to see big offline tournaments. And then where it was kind of going is after EVO, and it's happening in July, we're basically on a big lull. Like I said, ECT is going to come up, and NEC. Those are big East Coast tournaments, but I don't really know anything big that's going to be happening. We're going to be at basically the year mark when we start to get more tournaments after EVO. So we have a lot of coming up, and we'll see if grassroots events come up because a lot of these tournament, series that happen are grassroots. Shirairy TV completely grassroots. We made it ourselves, and grassroots meaning that it's not made by a bigger corporation or the company that makes the game, the series. It's just made by people who want to run the tournament. So, and that's kind of, I feel like after EVO, we're going to be big on grassroots until we hopefully get another Pro Comp announced, but we shall see. And so that's it for competitive Mortal Kombat. That's going to be coming up soon here on the horizon. So look forward to that. I am looking forward to that for sure. And let's talk about just recent news. So we found out that a couple days ago that ermac with early access is going to be dropping April 16th. That's going to be next Tuesday from when this video goes live. And I absolutely can't wait. ermac for me personally is my second favorite, tied probably for favorite. So my 3 favorite MK characters are Reptile, ermac, and Sector. And those 3, they're kind of tied for first. I kind of maybe have a little bit of affinity for Reptile, but ermac and Sector are right there. So I absolutely can't wait, even if he's terrible. The only way I'm not going to be playing ermac just as much as Reptile is if he's bad. If he's not bad. I've been playing Reptile this whole time. If he's boring. If he's just, and it turns out he has an incredibly boring game plan that I just can't get myself to play, then, I probably won't play ermac that much. But I've been playing Reptile this long. I didn't mean to say bad. And Reptile is, if you look at my most recent video before this one, he was pretty much decided by the community to be the second worst character in the game. So, at least currently, he's getting buffs, though, which is another thing I want to talk about. Reptile buffs like we've been asking for a while, and we're gonna get it. They're making Acid Spit a viable move. It looks like it looks like it's going to be a full projectile. Looks like he can do cancels with the stand 3, whether that's teleport or he can cancel into other moves if he's getting a different special move that he can cancel his stand 3 with. A lot of speculation going along, but we're gonna find out the 16th of April, and likely with that we're going to get a balance patch as well. That will be really cool to see what they do. Looks like they're buffing Reptile, adding moves, and if it's anything like Quan, I mean they gave Quan a new move, they gave him a few buffs, and Quan all of a sudden is upper mid tier probably. Quan seems to be a very strong character now, so we'll see what they do with Reptile. It'll be really cool. I'm very excited to see. And then ermac obviously is going to be a ton of fun. And then we're going to get Movado, another cameo that's going to be dropping in May at some point. But when ermac comes out, it looks like he's going to be playable at Combo Breaker. So you might be seeing a run for me at Combo Breaker with Reptile and ermac. I guess we'll talk so I'm likely planning on going to Combo Breaker. I would love to go to Final Combat too. So I guess it depends on how everything works out. If I'm able to win some online tournaments, get the finances to go. I had a few personal things happen with me that I'm not going to talk about, but basically family stuff, and it's been hard to come up with, or at least justify, spending all this money to go to these tournaments when I have so much personal stuff, not personal stuff, but like other stuff that I potentially could need to spend money on. So we'll see, but Combo Breaker is, unless something crazy happens, I will be at Combo Breaker, and then I have some Melee tournaments coming up these next couple of weeks. There's actually a tournament in Erie, Pennsylvania happening in a couple of weeks I'm going to go to that's going to have both Melee and MK, so you'll see results from me from there. I'll probably post it online how I did, or at least on Twitter. If you're not following my Twitter, check the description. I'll leave a link to my Twitter in there. But I think that's going to do it. Like I said, in the future, I'm probably going to have more of a categorized things that I talk about. But here I kind of wanted just to get it started, get the first episode out here, the Poseidcast, and I'm probably going to do this every week. Rather than on Thursday, I'll probably post a video either Thursday or Friday whenever I record it. But it's going to be happening. I'll look to get some guests on in the future as well, just talk about some stuff. But that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I wasn't too personal. I wasn't just like, why would I want to hear about what Poseidon has done with his life? Well, yeah, that's going to do it, guys, and I'll see you guys at the next video.